Well, back to our chronological Bible study, and we're about 970 BC, and we're looking at the change of power and the United Kingdom of both Israel and Judah, where David has passed the baton on to Samson, and Samson is getting a good start. First of all, he gets wisdom from his father. 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. The wisdom of David, his father. Then he asked wisdom from God. And we find that in 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 6 through 9. So we certainly find that Solomon is getting a good start on his kingdom. And it's recorded for us in 1 Chronicles 29, verses 23 through 25. Then Solomon sat on the throne of the Lord as king, instead of David his father, and prospered, and all of Israel obeyed him. And all of the princes and the mighty men and all of the sons likewise of the living David, King David, submitted themselves unto Solomon the king. And the Lord magnified Solomon exceedingly in his sight and in sight of Israel, on him royal majesty as had never been done for a king before in Israel. Incredible start. And he does a few things here. By the way, we see a lot of parallel passages now between 1 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. As we move back and forth between these books, we find the chronology, if you will. But the first thing that he does is he takes control of those who have been deceptive in the past. He takes care of Adonijah, who was the fourth son of Haggith, the wife of David, who David loved very much. But Adonijah, if you remember, has been very treacherous in his wanting to be king and having pretended he was king even when he wasn't. And now he wants to marry Abishai because that is David's concubine, and he hopes that that will put him in a position again to take the kingdom. But Solomon sees right through that, and he winds up taking care of Adonijah by putting him to death. Joab, who has been a great military man for Saul and for David, has also shown himself to be very cunning and very crafty and not to be trusted at all. And he was very faithful to Adonijah, so Solomon takes him out as well. And then there's Shemaiah, or Shimei, whichever way you want to pronounce it, who was the one that cursed David, and David said he wouldn't kill him, but he was going to leave that up to his son. Well, Solomon invites him to come and have a home in Jerusalem, but he tells him not to leave Jerusalem for any reason, because if he does, he'll die. And he doesn't listen to Solomon, even though he's only going after some of his own men who seem to have been kidnapped. And so Solomon deals with him as well. And now the three crafty, treacherous, and unreliable people who could mess up Solomon's kingdom have been done away with. And certainly we can't do away with our enemies like that, but Solomon has taken care of those that would be treacherous for his coming kingdom. So we find then again in 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 5 through 15, God came to Solomon in a dream, asked him for whatever request he might want, and of course Solomon asks for wisdom. But I think it's very, very important that we stop here and apply this to our lives. We can get wisdom from man, especially men that have proven to be wise, like David was. And we can ask God for wisdom, but we got to be careful what our motives are. I want you to go back and read carefully 1 Kings 3 and 2 Chronicles 1, and you'll find that Solomon humbly asks for wisdom, not for himself, but for wisdom to rule God's people. Now, wait a minute. Did you hear what I said? Not Solomon's people as king, but Solomon asked for wisdom to rule over and to judge and to take care of God's people. It's the kind of prayer that every pastor should make. God, give me wisdom, not for my people, not for my church, but for your church and your people. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.